everyone, it's John from What Up, and welcome back to another video. And this is a Wheel of Time news roundup. We're taking all the little tidbits over the last couple of weeks and kind of cramming them together in one video. We're going to talk just a bit about a short video that Amazon put out about Trollocs. We're going to talk about an upcoming article in Sci-Fi magazine that's coming out this month in August. Talks just a bit about season 2 and beyond of the Wheel of Time. I'll give you the Coles notes of it. It is behind a paywall, but a ton of people have already posted the bulk of the article online. So we'll talk about the important bits today. We're going to talk just about a brand new tabletop game that's coming out. Yes, it's Wheel of Time based tabletop game coming out in 2024. We'll talk just a bit about that. And of course, I always like to feature people from the community who make Wheel of Time merchandise. And there is a new Etsy store called Watt Patterns. They make all kinds of really great Wheel of Time stuff. I have some of it here to show you folks. And we're going to end the video on that. So if you like Wheel of Time merch, especially fan-made merch, this stuff is top-notch and you're not going to miss it. So if you're new to the channel, you don't know what we do here, well, at this point, it's pretty self-evident. We cover Wheel of Time show news, everything and anything to do about the Wheel of Time. If you like that sort of thing, make sure you subscribe, because in a few short weeks, Season 2 is coming out. So September 1st, when the first 3 episodes drop, expect a ton of videos from me on each individual episode. And I'm still going to cover all the rumors, leaks, and stuff from Season 3, and we have some of that coming up in the coming days. You're not going to miss any of this stuff, so make sure you subscribe. Now, before we jump into the video, I would normally give a bit of a spoiler warning, and that's not going to change today because we are talking elements of Season 2, but it's a very light spoiler warning. So, spoiler warning, if you have not seen the first season of Sony and Amazon's Wheel of Time show, that's episodes 1 through 8 in Prime Video, or read the first 3 books, that's The Eye of the World, The Great Hunt, and The Dragon Reborn of Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time series, be forewarned, I may ruin slight plot points and character arcs from those mediums, and we're going to ruin a couple of things from Season 2 that are coming up because the article in the Sci-Fi magazine does talk specifics. So, you've been warned. Alright, let's get on to the video. All right, we're going to start off with Trollocs here. Amazon recently put out a short video. We're talking about a minute long about Trollocs to promote things for Season 2. We're getting a few things per week from them at this point, and that's pretty exciting. I know we can't have a traditional marketing campaign. The showrunner and the cast and the crew can't really come online and talk about the show or promote it because of the strikes, but we are still getting some things from Amazon, which is nice to see. Now, we had a featurette about Trollocs pre-Season 1. This is sort of an abbreviated version of that. You have a few different people sitting down talking about it, and I've left a link to that video down below in the description box if you folks want to watch it. Like I said, it's a short one, but they basically talk about where Trollocs came from, their fuse between man and animal. They were made specifically for war, their nightmare fuel. They talk about the stunt people and the costume and makeup department behind the Trollocs and how they bring them to life and how they're sort of a fusion between practical effects and VFX. Now, from what I've seen on set, the Trollocs, when they're right in front of you, from what I've seen from behind the scenes stuff on set, they look finished. Like, there's, in my opinion, very little VFX they're going to do to them to make them look awesome. They look really, really good, but they do have to fuse them a little bit with VFX because they can't move exactly the same way in those big costumes. They have big rubber masks on, and when they move and get thrown around, their horns fall off, things like that. So, of course, VFX is involved. And I, for one, if you've been a fan of the channel for quite some time, know that I don't like VFX normally, but if I can't tell it's VFX, I'm totally fine with it. I don't have a super high standard for it, but as long as it's not like Blade 2 fighting in front of the lights. I don't know if you folks have ever seen that particular movie. Loved Blade 2 to death. It was an amazing movie. Wesley Snipes was really good as Blade in it, and then we get to that fight scene in front of the lights and just ruined the whole movie. So there's that. As long as it's not that bad, or the warg in Rings of Power. That was just terrible. The stakes are a little bit higher for Season 2 because episodes 7 and 8 of Season 1, the VFX at the end of that, especially the Trollocs, were really bad. They kind of ran out of budget. They had to scramble at the end to figure out what they were going to do, and they had to change a bunch of stuff. So a little bit leeway given to them for that. But everything we've seen from all of the behind the scenes and teasers so far point to really, really knocking it out of the park when it comes to VFX for Season 2, and I'm excited about that. All right, so I did mention at the beginning of the video we're going to get a tabletop game, a Wheel of Time tabletop game in 2024, and yeah, we are, and I'm really excited about it. All right, so this is done by Direwolf. If you don't know who Direwolf are, they do a ton of different games. They've done Dune games, they've done Game of Thrones, they have done Clank, Ark, Munchkin, just to name a few. They've done all kinds of different things, and I'm a huge tabletop game fan. I love it. My family loves playing games, so It just makes sense for me to be really excited about this. Now, this appears to be a Wheel of Time show-based game. We don't really have a whole lot of information on this at all at this point, other than it's releasing in 2024. I've already reached out to Direwolf and asked them to give me anything they have on it, any info at all, and they don't have anything ready for release, no press packets, no nothing yet. But when that comes out, I will definitely probably feature it in multiple videos here in the channel because I'm a huge fan of tabletop games, and I definitely will be featuring gameplay. I'm excited for it, and it marks kind of an important milestone here. We have almost no show merchandise, like almost literally nothing. We have a couple of hoodies and some t-shirts. They did do the Wheel of Time rings and the new Heronmark blade. That did come out. However, we have no real what you would expect from a major fantasy property merchandise. There's no CCGs out right now. There's no graphic novels. There's no Funko Pops. I would love to see a Funko Pop, Wheel of Time Funko Pop collection. I'm a huge Funko Pop collector. I'd love to see that stuff. We haven't got anything that you would normally expect from a big fantasy property. And the things I kind of expect, you look at Lord of the Rings, and you're like, look at all these things. Lord of the Rings is infinitely more popular than the Wheel of Time is. It's just the way it is. It's the top fantasy series and has been for quite some time. But with the popularity of the show and the resurgence in book sales recently, I think we're going to start seeing a ton of Wheel of Time merch that is official. Now, we have a ton of unofficial merch, and I'm going to display some of it at the end of this video, of course, from What Patterns and Etsy Shop. But I like Wheel of Time merch of all types and flavors, whether it's unofficial, official, it doesn't really matter to me. If it's Wheel of Time, I'm very happy about it. And this Tabletop Game's coming out in 2024, so I'll have to link to Direwolf's website down below. Right now, it's kind of a placeholder, just say it's coming out in 2024, but I'm sure if you keep checking back often, you'll probably see some info on that at that point. But I'll also cover it here on the channel, probably the day they release any info, so keep watching the channel if you're really interested in this tabletop game. Now, we're going to talk just about that sci-fi article. It's been covered by a bunch of different news outlets, and there's been little snippets here and there, and some of it's real important to Season 2. Some people have already gotten a hold of the advanced copies of the article, and they posted the bulk of them online. They're big Wheel of Time fans. They get the article, and of course, it's information they want to share. So I have some of that for you today. We're going to walk through all the important bits of the article where it talks about Wheel of Time, because there's some real cool stuff in there for Season 2. All right, so the article is set to feature one of the biggest battles ever. Now, producers Margio Kehoe and Sana Hamri have stated some pretty big claims in this article. They said it's going to be reminiscent of epic historical dramas like Cleopatra and Gladiator, and we can all pretty much be sure they're talking about the Battle of Falmouth. I featured it here pretty heavily on the channel because there were a ton of leaks from Morocco where it was filmed, including a bunch of videos from the set, because people could just kind of hang out and watch the set because it was in a public place. So I've actually done videos on this battle already. We've seen them practicing, the stunt persons on set. We've seen the main cast on set for it. And we've seen a lot of it in the promotional and teaser trailers and the trailer itself. I'm really excited for it. They're making claims here that are pretty big, though, because Gladiator and Cleopatra have some intensely epic battle scenes in them. And if it's even close to those, I'm going to be very happy. They suggested the Season 2 finale, which I assume is the Battle of Falmouth, will take the series to new heights in terms of stakes, stunts, and spectacle. There are times when I had 6 cameras going at the same time, Hamri, who also acts as the second season's primary director, said. When I met with showrunner Rafe Judkins, we talked about the vision for Season 2 and about more action, more deep, nuanced character work, as well as strong imagery. When you have a great Season 1 base, you can really jump off that and get some great visual chances also within the acting of it all. Now, that was one of the complaints that a lot of people had about Season 1. There wasn't enough character building. That was a huge thing. And Season 1 did a fairly good job of world building, and I think now we're going to pick up and we're going to really spend some time with the characters, and that'll give them a chance to really showcase what they can do on screen. I'm happy about that. Now, there's a ton of other stuff in this article, and there's sort of a little synopsis of things that were going on in Season 2. And you can definitely tell that the person who wrote the article definitely seen the first few episodes. I do know for a fact that a number of people already have screeners. I'm not one of them, unfortunately. And these people have seen it, and from what I have heard, they're pretty impressed so far with what they've seen. Not every episode has been released to them, of course, and they can't talk about it or write about it or anything like that. They're under a press embargo, but they're allowed to say whether they like it or not. And everything I've been hearing so far is incredibly positive. Now, the article actually states a few things that are happening in Season 1. So Season 1 starts with Nynaeve and Egwene in the White Tower, Perrin learning to be tracker with the Shienarans, and Mat is forcefully indisposed. We can assume that he's locked up in the tower because we've seen sort of some imagery of that already from the teaser trailers where he's in what appears to be Tower Dungeon. Rand is trying to blend into Kyrene, and Moiraine plots. We knew that Rand was going to be in Kyrene for Season 2. This just reinforces that fact. Moiraine plotting, not much new information there. There's a few brief comments from Rosamund and Daniel. Moiraine pushes Lan away. Moiraine will show she's a Machiavellian manipulator, always 3 steps ahead of her allies and her opponents. But when she pushes Lan away, she's very cruel to him because she doesn't feel she deserves his kind of loyalty anymore. Lan will then lean on his fellow warders and ask questions. Now, this is, I think, pretty important for a bunch of different reasons, because we didn't realize where Lan is going to see these other warders. Is it going to be with Alana? Is it going to be Alana's warders? Will it be Varen's warders? Because we know that Varen is coming out in Season 2. Will it be someone else? We know they can't go back to the White Tower. Moraine's been exiled, and that she is going to head to Kyrene at one point or another to see the Amyrlin and Rand. Will Lan meet the warders there, or will be on the road beforehand? I really don't know, but that's kind of a cool piece of information. Margie O'Keefe says the season follows Moraine's emotional journey. She's split from Lan, the bond is broken, and it's really brutal. She's on her own, but she's still trying to do what is right, which is to find Rand. Now, this is where I kind of got hung up. This is a direct quote from her, and she said the bond is broken. Now, either that's kind of misleading us off to the side, or it truly means the bond between Lan and Moiraine is broken, and that doesn't happen when a shield is up. This could be sort of taken literally, that the bond is broken, Moraine's been stilled, and they're no longer Warder and Aes Sedai, or it could be taken the fact that their bond of trust is broken. I really don't know what they meant here, and this is sort of some Aes Sedai wording, in my opinion anyway, but take it for what it is. This is what they said. That was a direct quote. Kehoe again states it's still the books, but the journey will be slightly different to what is in the books. I love it. I think the second season is phenomenal. And then with all the characters back together, the next question is, where are they going to go next? Season 3 starts with a bang. That's all I'll say. Now, we do know that everyone is pretty much converging on Falma for the end of Season 2, and that the end of Season 2 will likely be the big battle of Falma. Where are they going to go next at the beginning of Season 3? It starts with a bang. It kind of sounds like there's an additional battle or something else that's happening there. Will they go their separate ways? Will they stay together? Now, we know how it works in the books, and I didn't give spoilers much beyond the 3rd book, so I won't talk about the Shadow Rising, which is supposed to be most of the focus of Season 3. But I still expect some changes to Season 3, considering some of the leaks that I've seen, and we'll talk about those in coming weeks and months before Season 3 drops. Now, an expert from Yosha's talking about Rand. He tries to live a new life, and it's very hard because of who he is. Rand is trying to control channeling, going mad, becoming a beast, and actually not go towards that power. His destiny follows him when he's awake and even when he's asleep. He channels in his sleep, and something awful happens, and there's guilt. Now, that's kind of neat because it's been referenced a couple of times in the books where people have channeled in their sleep and they've woken up and the town around them is squashed flat and it's just them. That's the one instance that I remember. No one is supposed to be able to channel anything but spirit in their sleep in the book series. However, I'm not quite sure how they're going to handle this. I think we're going to see some interesting stuff from Rand in the 2nd season. I think they're going to start him down the path of guilt and self-doubt really, really early. And I think they're going to kind of ramp it up. I'm pretty excited about that. Now, Madeline Madden quotes, Nynaeve and Egwene are having a very different experiences of the White Tower. Nynaeve is succeeding and excelling and is gaining all of the attention of everyone. Egwene has sort of become invisible in the process. There's been this communication breakdown and a fracture in their relationship. I think being an idealist and an optimist that comes crashing down on her. She gets a reality check on how the world works, how Aes Sedai and the different Ajahs work, and even the relationships between the sisters within certain Ajahs is very complicated. Now, that can be summed up in that meme that we've all seen where the Amyrlin is talking to Nynaeve and Egwene in the 1st season, and basically is talking about one of the most powerful channelers in a long, long time. Egwene's kind of preening, thinking it's her, and it's Nynaeve, and her face just falls. I love that scene. I really, really thought Madeline Madden acted that really well, and hope we get to see more of that in the 2nd season. Now, before we go on to the Etsy store, what patterns, I do want to get your take on this. What do you think is going to happen in Season 2? Now, we have a ton of evidence that they're going to be all split apart for most of the season, but kind of joined back up at Falma. What I want to know is, when they talk about season 3 starting off with a bang, and they're all back together, do you think they're going to split up again? Do you think it'll closely follow the events of the 3rd book, or the 4th book rather, the Shadow Rising, or do you think it'll be something just a little bit different? Let me know in the comments down below. All right, so What Patterns is an Etsy shop run by Shelly Sedai, and she gave me a little synopsis of what she does here. Now, I will say that she did send me a couple of things from the store, and they're absolutely gorgeous. That's all I can say about it. I am really blown away by the quality of the stuff that she sent and how nice it looks. I'll show it here in a minute after I show some of the images of things that she has in her shop. But I've left a link to the Etsy shop down below in the description box. I would highly recommend you folks go check it out. If you like Wheel of Time stuff, if you like Shadowboxes or magnets or stickers or those sorts of things, she has lots of that stuff, and it's absolutely fantastic. Now, this is what she wrote to me. She's a decades-long Wheel of Time fan, and she started making her own WOT merch for herself and members of her family. It was suggested that others might like my WOT creations too, so I went for it. I opened up an Etsy shop. While I only have a few items in my shop now, I'm full of ideas and busy designing, creating new items that show off the different things we all love about the Wheel of Time. I'm open to suggestions. If there's anything someone would like to more customized, I'm open to that too. Just contact me through the email link in my shop. Help my Etsy algorithm and check out my website. So, like I said, I've left a link down below to both the Etsy shop and I've left Shelly Sedai's email so you folks can contact her and ask questions about some of her things. But the shadow boxes she has on here are absolutely gorgeous. Like, we have Rand, we have Matt and Perrin. We have one for each of the Ajas as well. There's more than just what I'm displaying here. She does mugs. These things are absolutely, like, they look amazing. The pictures don't really do a lot of the stuff justice. Really, really cool stuff. The Mughidian mug, I really like that. If I've chosen, it's so cool. I love the play on words. There's lots of different things, lots of stickers, tons of Matt stuff. If you like Matt, this is the shop for you for sure. Now, I'm going to go grab some of the things here that we have, and I'm going to showcase it here on the channel. All right, so I have one of the shadow boxes here, like I said, through the magic of YouTube, and this is the Matt Cawthon shadow box. Really sturdy, really well made. You can see how thick that shadow box is, and I can get my ring light in there, but how gorgeous it absolutely looks. It comes with a backlight and a remote, so you can actually turn on the light from across the room. Really cool, well made, very neat. I was really impressed when I opened up this package today when I got it. I have a couple of the stickers here. The Grave is No Bar in My Call, of course, with Matt Cawthon. Really very cool. Some of the fridge magnets. So, you know, the ancient symbol of the Aes Sedai, it's got a magnet on the back so you can stick it on the fridge and whatnot. It's really sturdy, solid. Looks like almost like an epoxy over top of it here. Really very neat. Now, there isn't a whole lot of Wheel of Time merchandise right now, either official or unofficial. But fans are filling the gap, and a lot of the unofficial merchandise is absolutely amazing. These people are very talented. Shelly is incredibly talented for being able to make this stuff. Not something I could ever do, although I'm quite happy to acquire it because I love Wheel of Time stuff. So this, like I said, is going up in the mantle behind me here. It's absolutely gorgeous. So support a fellow Wheel of Time creator. Take a look at Shelly's shop. I've left a link to it down below, like I said earlier. And if you like Wheel of Time stuff, there's some really cool things there. And like she said earlier, she's open to customization. So if you want something specific that's not quite shown or not on her shop, I'm sure she's willing to work with you for that. Either way, really very cool. And until we get some official merch, this is the stuff that you folks should be buying. You should be supporting other Wheel of Time fans because, let's face it, we're all kind of have this big shared experience of being in this community, and it's really very cool. Now, like I said earlier in the video, we are going to see some leaks for Season 3 coming in the next couple of weeks. In fact, there's been some shared already by Narg, the Trolloc on X, I guess now, not Twitter. But we're going to be talking about that stuff in the next couple of days here on the channel. We are ready for Season 2, and we're excited for Season 2, but Season 3 is still filming right now, and there's still a lot going on, so we're going to talk about that too in the next coming weeks and months. So, like I said earlier, if you haven't already subscribed, please do so. You don't want to miss any of the stuff that's coming up in the next couple of months, especially when Season 2 drops September 1st. Thank you all very much for sticking with us here to the very end. Here's to many more.